it has changed a lot. I have to tell you that, simply because I think I understand why these guys are doing this, right? And I think you do as well, Brett.
I might.
I think so. So to me, especially at this point, knowing what we know about everything that everyone is trying to sort of do in order to prevent fraud, we understand that it's fairly easy to engage in fraud nowadays. That's what we're seeing, this ramping fraud. At the end of the day, you're seeing people trying to get easy money. Folks are trying to engage in cool types of crimes, which will get them a lot of money, low probability of detection. That's why they're doing it. So to me, the interesting question to try and answer is not why people are doing it, but why don't they do that, right? I mean, and this is kind of a traditional criminological questions I haven't thought a lot of during the last 15 years I'm engaging in criminological research, but in the context of fraud, oh my gosh, I mean, it's so easy, as you know. Probability of detection is so low.
Right.
And so, it makes sense to me why people are doing this. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm trying to figure out why fraud fighters are doing what is it that they're doing. So,
well, I mean, that is a question,
right?
With me, and my history. I was that U.S. most wanted criminal. I built a lot of the backbone of what we see today, and now I'm this guy that's kind of like I call myself. I don't say I'm reformed. I say that I am a recovering criminal, and I take that seriously. I'm kind of this teetotaler. I mean, I go whole hog into making sure that not only I'm doing the right damn thing, but calling out other people who may not, or companies who may not. And I get my ass in trouble sometimes over that, as I'm sure you know.
Right.
But this idea, that's a very good question. This idea of why people would try to fight that fight against these people who are committing fraud, especially when, as you point out, fraud is extremely easy. The likelihood of getting caught almost zero. And, there's a few reasons for that. I mean, we've got 37,000 FBI agents. Of those 37,000, about 280 concentrate on cybercrime. And it's not just the FBI that's a problem. It's across the spectrum. Then you've got jurisdictional issues. The internet lends itself to anonymity. It's very difficult to pinpoint, prosecute, recover money, anything else like that. And you've got a lot of people, you are one of the ones that I include in this. You've got a lot of people that you bust your ass every single day to try to figure out how to stop what appears to be an unstoppable wave of crime.
It's interesting, right? I mean, the wave is definitely increasing. And unfortunately, at this point, very difficult to anticipate exact numbers and where we're going to be in a year from now. But, what I can tell you is that from where I sit and from what I see, it's only going to get worse till it's get better, right? And again, going back to the original question of, why fraud fighters are doing this. I mean, I actually spent a lot of time thinking and talking to fraud fighter about this. Because think about the average salary of a fraud fighter and compare that salary to how much you can make on a single day on the fraud ecosystem.
Right.
Right. I mean, it goes without saying that rationally, right, it doesn't make any sense, right, to not do that. And yet you see really good people trying to prevent on behalf of the banks, on behalf of the government, without really getting all the resources they need, to fight that, right? I mean, you talk a lot to law enforcement, you talk a lot to, folks who do fraud fighting in the financial industry. They're not getting all the resources they need in order to prevent and mitigate in an efficient way.
Well, I mean, not only are they not getting the resources. I mean, they're not only not getting the resources, but a lot of the times, I mean, let's be frank about it. A lot of the times, you've got your management that simply doesn't want to hear about the fraud problems that are out there. They want to put a new product out. They want to make sure that they're profiting. And they you look at SolarWinds, you look at chargebacks 9/11, the trouble that they got back in just a few months ago. It appears that a lot of the time that it's more important for the company to make profit than it is to mitigate fraud.